Hey everyone, and welcome to our series on how to tell a story. Whether you're telling a joke, telling a fairy tale, or trying to persuade someone with a little empirical evidence, telling a story well is an important skill. While it comes naturally to some, for others, this skill is a learned one. Never fear. You can learn to tell a better, more engaging story with me as your guide. Up to 93% of communication can be nonverbal, so you've got to pay really close attention to the messages you send through body language and your voice. The first way you can improve the use of your body and voice is to create character. If everyone in your story sounds the same, you're doing something wrong. You've got to make the different people in the story feel different. If you act them differently, then you can skip the annoying blank said parts of the story. If you give each character their own unique voice, you can also make the story feel more immersive. You can play with accents and speech patterns and voices for different people in the story. Characters are memorable for many reasons. Chief among them, their voice. You can add great comedic value by being silly or stereotyping with the voices. For example, you might characterize your father's voice with an overly deep, gruff sound, or add something like, "I'm going out to the garage to build a deck," or part of a deck. Or maybe I'll just watch a television show where they build a deck. The second thing you can do is make your storytelling big or small. Match the way your voice sounds to how you want the story to feel at that point. Change your pitch, tone, and volume to make stories seem calm or exciting, depending on where you are in the story. Accelerate your speed and slightly increase the volume as you build toward the conclusion. And slow down when you say the conclusion. And don't forget, sometimes a story needs a moment to breathe. You should experiment with dramatic pauses. A moment of silence and a look can add a lot to someone's experience of a story. The third thing you can do is control your face. If you want to become a really great storyteller, you have to master your ability to create and change facial expressions to match what you're saying. Your face should be able to basically act out the entire story. If you really want to learn from the master, watch a lot of YouTube videos of Jon Stewart or Martin Freeman. Practice those expressions in front of a mirror, because you don't want to look like you just had a Botox procedure. Your facial expressions come in more than 3 flavors. It's not happy, angry, or upset. You can convey really complex emotions by using very specific facial expressions. The fourth thing you can do is talk with your hands. Talking with your hands can make you go from seeming like a really stiff, boring storyteller to someone who commands the room with a story. For better or for worse, hands tell your story. Hands convey emotions. Hands keep our audience focused. Hands create a feeling of action. If you don't use your body in any other way, at least start talking with your hands when you tell a story. Hand gestures are fantastic. But don't get me wrong, you don't want to go over the top. You don't want to be flailing around like an idiot. You don't want to hit anyone in the face or knock over your drink or knock your drink into your face. You want to try to keep your hands between your shoulders and your waist and no more than half an arm's length extended. And the last, but what I think is the most effective thing you can do, is to act out the story. If you can, move your whole body to act out the story. You don't have to reenact every motion, but use your body at key points in the story to direct the listener's attention to that point. Great speakers have stock expressions that they know audiences will respond to. Great storytellers have stock gestures. So what I recommend is that you try to keep your gesture toolbox full. Try to think of some of the greats, like WWE's The Rock and his patented eyebrow lift, or Rodney Dangerfield's collar tug. These small little gestures can break up your story and add extra silliness when needed. In using your voice and body, you want to remember to create character, make your storytelling big or small, control your face, talk with your hands, and act out the story. When you use your voice and body, you're showing, not just telling. You're enabling your listener to experience the story through action, words, thoughts, senses, and feelings, rather than just through your summarization and description of what happened. Using these techniques, by the end of your story, your listeners will have something to remember, something to picture in their mind, and something they'll never forget. In part 3 of our series, we'll look at some tips on how you can improve your storytelling so that you get it right the first time, every time.